Queenie had a peep over the right shoulder, and she's going to blow them away. But Northerly, Danny Miller, pumping away, and Northerly wins the railway.
Welcome to Racing Rewind. Our panel will review and digest the Prime WA Saturday Thoroughbred meeting from 24 hours earlier. If you have an opinion, send a text to 0427 789 571.
Galaxy Star draws away from them. Pike Magician.
Yes, Racing Rewind. Lochie and Michael in the studios. Very good morning, lads.
Good morning, Marty, Michael and listeners. Final race of the Ascot season. What a season it's been, but we were just discussing off air. We're almost looking forward to getting to Belmont, and that appears to be the theme of just about every single year. It's a long Ascot season, it's a long Belmont season, so by the time we get to the twilight few weeks of that season, we're looking forward to our new venue.
Yeah, fresh pad, fresh deck, and just this time of year when things are starting to get a little bit gloomy, a little bit colder, and Belmont's a pretty nice, intimate type of a venue with the footy across the road, and it's the right time of year for that type of venue, but I'm sure we'll be pretty much looking forward to Ascot after a couple of months there again.
Yeah, Mike.
You are listening to Racing Rewind on Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
Okay, let's take two this one. Michael, you're saying it was Rogan Josh Day out there yesterday?
Yes, we were saying final Ascot meeting of the season yesterday. Looking forward to getting back to Belmont now. Fresh deck, fresh pad, nice intimate venue with this time of year, which suits. And it's been a terrific Ascot season, though. I was trying to think on the way here just some of the highlights that we've had, and I think it'd be pretty difficult to go past Ollie and Munamak, but there have been some really ripping finishes throughout the year and in some feature races as well.
Without doubt. Mark, just on Rogan, Josh, what were your recollections of that famous Melbourne Cup back in 99?
He'd set it up with his run in the McKinnon on the Saturday beforehand. I think it was a blind. I'm sure that was a race it was. And then, yeah, he was always going to be very hard to beat. What a wonderful horse he was. Colin Webster, and I think Cole was still in the ownership when
I think so.
Won the Melbourne Cup. Great horse. Great horse. Real warrior.
Who rode him?
Johnny Marshall.
John Marshall.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Had some signed silks from Johnny. We made some money out of them over the years. About 5 of them.
I don't doubt it, Marty. I do not doubt it.
Don't know where it is now.
Said it was for charity.
If there's $1 to be made, you'd find it.
Charity of Marty Young.
We've got one. Here's the foundation, actually. It's a very shaky foundation too. My ex-boss, this is from Lisa Vellenbook, who loves to send in a text on a Sunday. My ex-boss has asked if I could go into a horse with him. What's the best advice?
I would say
Pick a fast one.
yes, pick a fast one, but pick a trainer you'd like to get involved with. And honestly, I think if you're trying to get into horse ownership for the first time, or you're still a little bit new to the game, jump in 2 or 3 and just divvy up your willingness to
reduce the risk.
Exactly right. So chances are in this game, we all know how hard it is. You can get into a slow one, but if you diversify that risk, hopefully that one fast one potentially pays for the other potentially slow 2 ones.
What do you think of that, Michael?
I was about to say something similar, that if some people think they'll buy 20% in a horse, I'd be buying 4 or 5% shares as well.
Yep.
You have 4 times the fun and spread your risk.
Okay, what about from the steward's room, and how did the track play yesterday out there at Ascot?
Lengthy steward's report.
Really lengthy steward's report. There was plenty happening in race 1, the 3-year-old 1,000 Plato Plomo. Really interesting reading. Essentially, the horse was held, or the start was, yes, the start was affected by the barrier tendon, which had hold of the horse's ear and rein. And in that barrier tendon's opinion, the gelding was not fully balanced. So essentially, the horse was held whilst the barriers opened. And in that very same race, last Stylebender, as the blindfold was being removed, he lunged forward and broke through the front of the barriers.
Because the blindfold was removed a touch early, was it?
No, I think...
I
don't think that's... To be honest, I think the horse is a troubled horse.
Right.
And as soon as the blindfold is removed, the horse can get a little bit anxious. So as a result of that action occurring, he lunged forward, pushed open that barrier, and the steward still deemed that after that he was unbalanced and therefore he didn't receive an unfair advantage in that race, but because of the gelding's barrier manners, he must complete a satisfactory trial prior to racing again.
In terms of the track itself, I thought overall it was pretty good, but I think those towards the rail were certainly better advantaged. In race number 1, we had Lost City, who led all of the way, albeit steady tempo. Street Band was just too good for them off the speed in the second race, but the leader and Breeze Horse ran second and third. Lucky's Way made a inside run to win the third. The Boss Lady was just too good for them in the fourth, and race 5, Miss Rockjoy stuck to the rail the whole way and got up at big odds. Race 6, Rock and Rupert was too strong for them. Race 7, Alay Alay was on speed. Go Bella was towards the inside in race 8, and Zafira came down the middle part of the track, one of the outliers of the program in the last. But overall, I think if you were probably within 3 or 4 horses of the fence, it was probably the place to be.
Now, earlier on, Andrew of Willerton sent in a text. What did you think of Amelia's Jules run? Now, you guys are out there front and square. What was the story? What was the feedback after the run?
Initial thoughts were plain, but I thought, listening to Damien Lane's beaten jockey comments after the race, that he said she slipped out of the barriers but still travelled up well, and I think the part of the track where she wasn't the place to be on the day, but she just wants further for mine. She's just a 14 or probably a miler, if anything, and perhaps it was probably the wrong race.
Damien Lane said that she still travelled really well, but just didn't show her usual turn of foot late and was disappointing overall, and I couldn't agree more. Okay,
and what a good win by New Merion to come out of a 4th in a Perth Cup. Next run, win a Hollandale at Group 2 level.
I saw that, caught the corner of my eye up in the sunny coast. What a win, and it was a dominant win as well.
Well, 3 deep. Yeah, we had Rob Archibald on and talked about that win, but sat 3 deep, no cover all the way, and put them to the sword in the heavy conditions.
And once again, it dispels that theory that a long trip over to Perth can hurt your horse for preparations to come. We saw Overpass run a super race in the All-Age Stakes. Who was he beaten by? Giga Kick last year after winning a quokka. And then we've seen New Merion come over for the Perth Cup. He won the Ted Van Himst, and now he's won a Hollandale.
That's why I purposely asked Rob when he was on the program as to, obviously the horse must have pulled up well from that trip. He said he pulled up beautifully from it.
Overpass has gone to the paddock, I read, but would he be coming back for the Winterbottom?
Yes, that's the plan. That's the plan.
You?
You'd think you go to an Everest and then to a Winterbottom.
Just keep bouncing back and forth until he can't do it anymore.
I read that he's back for the spring, but he's typically a first-up horse, so I wonder whether he's straight into the Winterbottom or whether he'll start again before then.
Well, we better get cracking. The first event was the Glenroy Chaff Plate. As you heard from that steward's report, it had a bit of controversy about it.
From Bolter, over on the outside next of all is Olivia's Me Mama, sitting 3 deep on the course. There's no room at the moment for Ginnivan down on the inside, and Last Style Bender is certainly into open in plenty of time to come after the leaders. Lost City, Bolter almost together. Last Style Bender holding Ginnivan in a tight pocket behind them. Lost City giving, Bolter keeps on trying. Last Style Bender coming at them now. Last Style Bender, Lost City finding on the inside Lost City was able to fight back resolutely and
under CJP. Lost City beats Last Style Bender, Bolter, Ginnivan and Olivia's Me Mama with Plato or Plomo, a non-runner.
Lost City just dominant from out in front, had a very soft lead, I should say, and from there she just seems like a tough little filly. Grant Williams post-race basically said exactly that. She may not be blessed with real, utter topper echelon Saturday ability, but she just knows where the line is. That was her 3rd win from 4 career starts. Interesting, she's won all 3 starts that she's led, but Grant still feels that she will be a better horse when she gets some cover and has some horses to chase. So perhaps that's where we see improvement out of her moving forward. But credit where credit's due, was the beneficiary of a messy start and was able to find the front, and from there was able to make the most of it.
Yeah, 100%. She's only a small filly. I was quite surprised when I was looking at her in the yard pre-race, but she's been placed to perfection. Last preparation, she was a debut winner at Bunbury. She then went to a midweek race where she actually got the better of Rocket Juice, who's a Saturday type, and since returning this preparation, I remember interviewing Grant before the first up run this time in, and he said that he thought there was still a bit of improvement, was perhaps a little bit unders, and she was beaten that day, but only by a nose or a head, and struck the perfect Saturday race yesterday. Only a 5-horse field, had conditions to suit, the run to suit, and is building up a terrific record. The follow for me with Last Stylebender, really nice horse to look at, nice neat type, and son of it is a gelding, I think, yes, son of Harry Angel, and hit the line really well, 33.22 the last 600. Bolter had a soft run outside lead and battled on okay, and Ginnivan was awfully unlucky. I think he may have stepped slow, perhaps, but he ended up back in the field. I actually thought he could lead that race going into yesterday, but for a horse that we know is more of a, I don't want to say a one batter, but more of a one-dimensional type, I thought his run was terrific to sort of be held up in the straight looking for runs, and the way he finished off suggests he would have probably gone pretty close had he jumped with them, Lochie.
Yeah, exactly. That was one pleasing aspect about a very unlucky performance from Ginnivan. I think if he steps a little bit cleaner, perhaps without the commotion at the beginning of the race, he leads with ease because they didn't set any records out in front. So in that sense, you'd think he would have been awfully hard to beat from out in front. But also, if he just had clear air from the top of the straight, in my opinion, I think he would have won that race. So clearly returned really well, but I agree with your comments in regards to Last Stylebender. Nice horse. Happy to follow him, but just a slight query on his barrier manners, and he obviously has to trial once again before we see him back at the races.
And Ginnivan is a Belmont winner as well on debut at 1,000 metres last preparation, or a couple of preparations ago. I think it was as a 2-year-old. So
we were really hoping that rain would have arrived Friday, and it didn't.
Yep. So going back to Belmont, I think Ginnivan's in for a good campaign, and Last Stylebender, of course, is a maiden. You can be following that horse wherever it goes.
Do you see JP's riding well at the moment? I watched him. He rode a winner at Geraldton. I was working here Friday and drive a horse called Mocha Dream. And if he'd gone around them at the point of the bend, I don't think the horse gets there and wins, but he cut the corner, got inside, ducked and weaved in the straight, and then got the horse across the line. He's riding really well.
He did that on Lucky's Way, in a way, yesterday as well in town. So he's very, very good at that, being able to find neat runs in behind them. He has been quiet in the metro area of late, but no William Pike, no Chris Parnham yesterday. We saw him back to his best.
Just looking at the Jockeys Premiership too, so overall here in WA, Parnham, Chris, 127, Pike 119, CJP 116. The Metro, it's Pike 77, Chris Parnham 76, CJP 58, Brad Parnham 43. So quite compact up there at the top, which is always good to see. Race number 2, the Morley Growers Market Plate. This was over the 1,000 metres.
Duet racing up very prominently. A length and a half behind them, Sky River just shading, talked up down near the rail. In behind them, Fab trying to improve down near the insider. Street Band comes to the outer with its run at the 250, and Arduet races up. Now tested, he draws the Shillelagh. Arduet kicks a length and a half. Street Band is coming though at the great rate of knots. Street Band ranges up, grabbed Arduet, and that's a fabulous first up win. Street Band has marched
tricky
in.
Trevor, he's got a nice one here. Street Band, tell us about it for Jared Noski and Trevor Andrews.
Really nice win. I think coming into yesterday's event, the query was the 1,000-metre journey, and at the 600-metre mark, that query looked like it was absolutely occurring to the tee. The horse was off the bridle, but under the urgings of Jared Noski, he was able to cut through the field and get along the inside of some tying runners, and then once he balanced up, he made really good ground from, I'd say, the 500-metre mark to the 350, and then he let down with a really nice turn of foot. This was one of the most dominant performances of the day, albeit I don't think he beat a great deal in terms of horses from perhaps fourth back to last, but really nice win. And Trevor post-race suggested that he'll head to a 2-year-old 1,200-metre event in 3 weeks' time at Belmont. And I'd have to say, from what we've seen go around here in the 2-year-old ranks in recent weeks, he'll be very, very hard to beat in that.
Yeah, 100%. He's a really nice type of a horse. He was clearly the pick of the yard yesterday, but I had the same query as a lot of people. He was mapping a little bit awkward, 1,000 metres, potentially back in the field, and he was out the door and betting, which I think was reflective of that. He was, $3 out of $5 or thereabouts. But watching this race live, visually, he was just about the win of the day. He did it so easy, the way he chimed in, and when he eventually let down, he has a really sharp turn of foot, and I think that's going to hold him in good stead for better races moving forward. But I do have a slight query on the form, as you've referenced there as well. Arduet's going well. Lucky I Am, I think, just looks a 3-year-old looking at her visually, and she was a good effort to do what she did, running third on debut. I actually liked the effort of SoFab, who was beaten nearly 6 lengths, but went back, has led trials and won a trial by about 6 one day, but was back in the field, actually settled inside of the eventual winner. Didn't get the rub of the green as the winner did, and had to stop and prop and make a couple of runs, but I thought the last 200 metres was really strong and didn't mind the look of the horse in the yard either. So I think whilst beaten, a well-beaten fourth, I thought it was a really good effort SoFab on debut.
I think it must be noted, and you can't, I guess, undersell the importance of race experience. The 2 raced horses in this race, Street Band, that was his 5th start. Arduette, that was her 3rd career start. You look at the manner in which those 2 travelled into the corner and the way they let down in comparison to the rest of the field who hadn't been to the races before. It certainly can't be undersold how important race experience is for these 2-year-olds, sorry.
Okay, that is race number 2 taken out by Street Band. We go to the 3rd, the Tab Touch West Speed Platinum Handicap. This was over the 1,200 metres.
Trapped out there 3 deep. Down on the inside, Platinum Class being followed then by Bred to Flirt, the centre. Enchanting Sound being urged along, coming into the home corner. Wonder Weapon trails her. Famous Journey, though, extended by the 220. Led a length and a half. Bred to Flirt, Ultimate Command, Enchanting Sound, Wonder Weapon, all coming down the outside. Lucky's Way finding room as well after being last, and Lucky's Way shot through. Lucky's Way hit the front. Lucky's Way, gee, that's a clever ride. Lucky's Way has got home from a 3-way finish.
Well, as you mentioned before, CJP coming up on the inside on Lucky's Way to get the money here.
What a ride this was. You need to go back and watch this replay a few times. Lucky's Way drew a horrible alley, barrier 9 of 9, and you watch Clint in the early stages. It looks like he's going to be 3 deep with cover on the back of a horse like DT, but I think Clint just accepted the fact he was going to be way too far off them in what was a moderately run race, so he elected to ride for luck. He scooted up the fence, and from there he just kept poking his way through. This mare, great effort to get the job done. 1,400 back to 1,200 metres. I think last start had every possible chance at 1,400 metres, but for mine, just seemed to peak on a run late, which is interesting given the fact that she's a winner over a mile. But I think 1,200 metres at this stage of her career appears to be her best trip, or 1,400 metres, but ridden in the manner in which she was ridden yesterday, because when she's able to be saved up for one last crack at them, she really does have a good turn of foot over 200 or 300 metres.
Yeah, she does. Terrific ride, probably the ride of the day. Just 3-back fence from barrier 9, as you mentioned, and taking those inside runs in the straight was really sharp over the final stages. It was a good day for Simon in town. He obviously quinelled the last race as well, so a couple of winners there for the final Ascot meeting. Final Journey was our famous Journey, I should say, was a good run. Second up was a better horse on speed. Second up, 1,200 metres, drawn a gate, fought on really well. Wonder Weapon, I think, was as good as anything in the race. The money was puzzling for this horse, how strong it was. It was $6.50 into $3.10 favouritism. I thought 1,200 metres was always going to be a bit sharp for a horse like that.
You said that on the...
Yeah, but and the way the horse raced as well was just crying out for 1,400 metres, and has raced up to a mile previously, but I thought it was a terrific effort still, probably a follow, but I'm still conscious. 10 starts now, only the 1 win, so eligible for easier, but does look a good horse for this sort of grade. Bred to Flirt's tracking along well, and Platinum Class had the run of the race and was an even effort as well back there in 5th. Thought Enchanting Sound was perhaps a touch disappointing. They didn't go overly fast here, but it was 3 deep cover, appeared to have the right type of a run, but just didn't finish off. Has had a few runs this prep, but I thought it was probably better than what she showed yesterday.
I agree. I think it's important to note Famous Journey gave 6 kilos to the winner and 6.5 kilos to Wonder Weapon. In saying that, I'm still making Wonder Weapon a horse to follow, better suited at 1,400 metres next start, and as you touched upon, eligible for easier next start, having only won her maiden, so I'm keen to follow her next start.
Ultimate Command, no luck, 3 deep. DT ran last, had bar plates on both fours, so clearly battling some issues behind the scenes.
Get your bets on NBA. This final game today about to tip off. Boston $1.32 away to the Cavs, 3.45. Cavs were too good for them in Game 3 of that series. 7.5 is the line there, and the total points 211. Been to plenty of Ascot race meetings this year, and it's the best I've been to in my eyes, race and facility wise. Congrats to James and the team. Roll on Belmont. It's so good to watch the races and finish the day off at Optus during the footy season. That is from Greg Al. So, obviously, Greg's very happy with the way things have been through this Ascot season.
Yeah, a terrific venue and the amount of facilities and bars that are there now, it's outstanding.
It's been a younger crowd at Ascot this season. Mark goes out and
you're just getting older, mate.
People start rocking up.
Stephen of Albany, I'd like to congratulate Michael Heaton. He's developing into a very good all-round form analyst.
Oh, please.
Well, there you go.
Thank you very much, Steve. Is that a stitch-up or is that a legitimate?
No, it's true. It's on the phone here, mate. 0427 789 571 for retribution. You got a fan down in Albany. How's your Albany form? You don't tip down there, do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
Oh, through the summer, when we head down there.
Sign some autographs.
On to race number 4.
Photos with babies.
Inside is Pot Shot. Last of all is Goddess of Giving, who's going to follow the favourite home. Into the straight now, Kripolenko led narrowly from Storm Commander. City Angel now being asked the big question coming down the outside. The Boss Lady winding up as well for Parnham. 150 to go. They've got to Kripolenko. City Angel reached the lead. Parnham had to reach for the stick. The Boss Lady, City Angel, the Boss Lady on the outside. She'll show who's the boss all right. The Boss Lady makes it a hat-trick from City Angel. Then Goddess of Giving, charging
warming into his work, wasn't he, by about race number 4, the old cob. The Boss Lady, Michael Lane, Brad Parnham combined there. Well, someone had, what they have, 1,500 at 230 for 3,004, but more importantly, the first leg of a double that yielded 52,500.
Well done to Digby. I think he...
was it Diggers?
Must have been his bet because our Lay was his best of the day and he probably just malted them together.
Well, but talk about the horse. Things didn't go to plan last week when she slipped the lead.
No. And as Scott said on Saturday morning on Inside Running, it may have actually been a blessing in disguise knowing that it didn't hurt her and she avoided racing against a filly like Twain's Angel, who is just probably the leading 3-year-old over the last month and a half here in Perth, especially over these types of trips. But the Boss Lady, with the manner in which she won yesterday, I'd be really keen to see them clash once again because I thought this was a fantastic victory. Travelled into the race so well. There was only one horse he wanted to be on, and then even under the 58.5 was really strong late. City Angel gave that mare 3 kilos, and I'm excited to see her go to 1,200 next start. And then post-race, Michael Lane suggested that a berth in the Raconteur over 1,400 metres is certainly on the cards for her, which would add some very valuable black type to her page, and I'm sure she's already a very valuable filly as it is.
Yeah, 100%. She's won, 6 from 8 now.
Yep.
Outstanding for a street boss, as a daughter of street boss, but I think she's looking for further. That's what excites me about her. She did travel into the race really strongly there, as you said, but in the straight, I was almost wondering whether she was going to get there in time. It just seemed she took a little bit just to get there, and then her strongest part of the race was the last 50 metres, and I think 1,400 metres where she can probably just get there a little bit easier. I think she'll be even better suited. She raced up to a mile last preparation. I definitely don't think she's a 1,600 metre horse, but I think sort of 1,400 will be even more suitable for her, which is really exciting moving forward. City Angel's come back well this preparation. Interestingly, took a sit there yesterday. Has a horse that has settled on speed for the majority of her career, but was still really effective. One out, one back, and took a good horse to be able to run her down. Goddess of Giving has performed really well at Belmont Park before, and first up yesterday there at Ascot was a good effort, and I think could be a follow heading back to Belmont. Just looking up her record now, I think she might be 2 from 2 at Belmont as well, so that could be a big follow type of an effort, and I think the other horses were well beaten, had their chance and weren't good enough, but keen to see the Boss Lady up to 12 and potentially 1,400 metres, and keen to see Goddess of Giving back at Belmont.
I agree, Goddess of Giving. I have a slight knock on her knowing the fact that she's a 74 rater already, and I might query what level she can get to. No denying how good her run was yesterday. I thought it was fantastic, but where Lou goes next with her, I suspect she could go up in grade to a 72 plus and down in grade, and that might be down in weight, and that might be suitable for her, but time will tell in regards to that. But I'm keen to keep following the Boss Lady. She just knows where the winning post is.
Okay, on to race number 5, the Petaluma Handicap over the 1600.
450 from home, Happy as Larry. It'll bring them for the judge. Leads the way narrowly at the top of the straight. Cool Memory about to lay down the gauntlet to it. A length and a half on Patrol, who follows Cool Memory into the home straight. Miss Rockjoy looks for a rails run. Yarra Lee, she's battling Cool Memory. Happy as Larry. Miss Rockjoy getting right up along the inside though. Miss Rockjoy goes to Cool Memory, and on Patrol coming over on the inside. Miss Rockjoy scraping the Dulux though, and is too good. Miss Rockjoy, a rails hugging ride by Whiting to beat Cool Memory on Patrol. Happy as Larry next home. Followed then.
Oh, there it is, Miss Rockjoy. Jason Whiting at the big odds. That was Mother's Day present for Ginger Jane. Up along the fence, beats Cool Memory and Happy as Larry.
Miss Rockjoy, disappointing last start, ran 7 lengths last when leading, but 2 key changes heading into yesterday. The tongue tie went on and a quieter ride, and from there was in the box seat, had to scrape the Dulux to get the job done, but a nice win. Early on in her career, she had showed really good ability and has black type to her name, but it was really nice to see her back to her best yesterday.
Yeah, didn't see this performance coming, not from her overall career record, but just her recent efforts. I was really surprised with the way that how strong she was. Just clearly that addition of the tongue tie and a more patient ride has got the best out of her, and I think that rail was pretty good as well on the day, but still had to get it done, and she did that. The favourite, Cool Memory, I thought had every chance pretty much in the end, and Happy as Larry, I think, is a more effective horse when ridden on speed, and yesterday found the right type of race where he could lead and kicked up and ran a nice third. I thought this was a winnable race for On Patrol, was given every possible chance by Clint Johnson Porter. Terrific ride from where he was in the run, weaved his way through, flushed Yarra Lee coming to the corner, and thought had every chance. And for a horse that's now, I think he's a 16 start Class 1, he's run out of chances for mine in terms of a betting proposition. I do think he'll be winning more races moving forward at some stage, but I'll be parking him to one side for a little bit.
I agree. We've made On Patrol a horse to follow on more than one occasion on this show, and I think yesterday he finally proved that I think he just needs to go back to a lower grade, get the job done first before we're willing to follow him again, because, yeah, as Michael said, Clint gave him a lovely ride yesterday and he still wasn't able to get the job done. First 4 across the line, all 3-year-olds. So as we so often see this time of year, horses like the Beat the Bros, Yarra Lee, Justamidi, they've been around for a while now, and the progressive lighter race 3-year-olds came to the fore in this race yesterday.
Yarra Lee was playing up a little bit going onto the track yesterday. She has been up a fair while. She's had about 10 runs, I think it is, and she's had a really good campaign, but just wouldn't be surprised to see if that was an end of prep run for her.
Keep those Sunday saviours coming in on 0427789957.
You are listening to Racing Rewind on Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
Came to find Dyrite. Back midfield behind those Rock and Rupert, then Zangief. Over on the inside, Pleasure Cruise, Dance Boss with a mountain of work to do. And towards the tail, First Law. They balance up, 300 left to go. Cross statement about to be joined by Beccalotti and Rock and Rupert. They're both putting their runs in together. Beccalotti on the outside, Rock and Rupert, Beccalotti, cross statement coming back, further back, Dance Boss. But now Rock and Rupert extends, draws clear and comes away with a sharp win. Rock and Rupert has won from either cross statement, Beccalotti, and from last, Dance Boss charging home, then Zangief.
Didn't think this is a bad little race?
Nice race. Some nice, well-performed horses in this race at Saturday level. Rock and Rupert, he's always promised a win like this, and for whatever reason, his Ascot record isn't quite as good as what it is at Belmont, albeit he's ran plenty of minor placings at Ascot, but yesterday just had the world-perfect run. Lovely ride from Lakhdar Amoli, and from there, dominant win. Almost won by 2 lengths ahead of Cross Statement. We know what we get from him, but Rock and Rupert, clearly the horse out of this race, knowing that he doesn't mind getting his toe into the ground, and he clearly, from what we've seen so far in his career, he's a superior Belmont Park horse.
Yeah, I was filthy with myself with this outcome. I'm pretty sure I made Rock and Rupert a follow first up, and going into yesterday, then the money was really strong. He was backed into about $3 or $2. He started favourite, in fact, over Dance Boss, which was really, really strong money late. And I just kept looking at his Ascot record, and I thought, we're back to Belmont in a week or two. Maybe I'll just wait one more run, and Nut should have stuck fat because he absolutely smashed them yesterday. It was a really, really strong performance. Cross Statement was good, was headed and looked like running third or fourth, but fought back strongly. He's ticking along well, but to be honest, I was probably a bit disappointed with Becca Lotti. I thought the way the horse loomed on straightening, she looked like she was definitely going to get past Cross Statement. She had the run of the race. She's got a handy enough record, but I don't want to say she's a nonny, but I think she's had a couple of nice runs this preparation, just hasn't been able to get the job done. So perhaps she's a work in progress, or I don't think the blinkers did really change much at all there yesterday. So she's a little bit of a watch for me, Becca Lotti. I've always been a big fan. I think I've tipped her all 3 starts this prep, but just going to just monitor her moving forward. But loved Dance Boss yesterday. First time I've had a good look at him in the yard before. A ripping type of a horse. I can see why he's so lightly raced. Big, heavy, son of a deep field, late season 4-year-old, and I think he'll be relishing getting to Belmont Park.
I agree.
Starts.
I think he's going to be the horse to follow for many, many people.
33.10 the last 600.
Heading to Belmont Park next week or in a couple of weeks' time. In saying that, his racing pattern just might still be against him. Perhaps Simon Miller might just be a little more patient with him and wait until he draws a barrier, because when he draws wide gates, I don't think he's lengths and lengths above this grade like a Malcar Pindari was first up. He does need a better gate to be able to settle a little bit handier, and then from there, I'm really happy to follow him next start. But when he draws 10 of 10 like he did yesterday, it was no surprise to see him drift really, really aggressively.
We spoke about Kalima for a lot when she won really impressively the other week. The first 3 horses across the line here all come from that Kalima form. So really looking forward to seeing when Darren McAuliffe steps her out next.
Okay, news, Nathan Cleary, he's set to miss 8 weeks with that hamstring injury, so Origin Series with hamstring tear is on the outer there for that star fullback. Let's go to race number 7 now, the City of Opportunity Trophy over the 1800.
Left to go, Never Sober. It'll straighten for the judge as they set sail for home over Alay. No run at the moment here for Checks. He can't buy his way out. Satino, though, collared them. It had looped the field and down the outside, ranges up and grabs them. So Satino hits the front. A run comes for here for Checks, but Satino with Alay who won't lie down. Alay coming back at Satino. He'll have to earn if he's in to win it. Alay kicking, though. Alay fights back from Satino and Alay on the inside over Satino. Another brave win by the top weight under 60 from here for Checks, and then came So War.
Big win this, Alay. It was big for the putters.
Ooh, whipping the left, Mart.
Oh, Brad and Steve going to war there up the straight. Yes, it's there.
Alay, big win. He's just such a tough horse. I think Michael Lane's doing a wonderful job with not only him, but his whole team in recent weeks. And Alay, what a tough performance this was. Settled outside the lead of Never Sober, travelled into the race really well, but as did Satino. He trucked into the corner like he was the winner, but Alay headed by Satino at around the 200-metre mark. Bradley Parnham pulls the whip through to the left, and he was just ridden vigorously all the way to the line, and credit where credit is due. The horse gave Satino some 5.5 kilos and still was able to get the job done. Huge win. Where Michael Lane goes to next with him, I'm not sure. He's clearly getting up in the ratings now, but great start to the campaign.
Yeah, 100%. That was such a gallant win there yesterday. He was there to be beaten, 5.5 kilo difference. And the scary thing is that you look at his soft track record, 14 starts, 4 wins, 7 placings. Heavy track he's placed on before as well. So going back to Belmont Park, geez, he could be in for an almighty campaign. Alay. Satino's still progressing really well. Only won a maiden going back a couple of starts ago. Love the way that he's progressing through the classes. I think he'll make a Saturday type. Here for Checks, just had a tendency to hang out a little bit, I thought, but still had a nice run and didn't get a huge amount of room in the straight. It's clearly come back well. He's always a top 3 finisher. So War finished off just in a nice even effort, but it was all about Alay pretty much here. I think a lot of these horses had their chance, and Alay was there to be beaten, but was just too tough. And the way Brad just switched his whip through to the left at the perfect time, wheeled him over the line. I thought this was probably an underrated ride.
Absolutely. I actually really liked the run of Satino, albeit, as I said, gave the winner 5.5 kilos, but Satino, just the manner in which he's travelling in his races, he's clearly returned in fantastic order. I think Michael Grantham has a wonderful handle on the horse and is eligible for much easier races. He can go back to a graduation or even a Class 3 next start and be awfully hard to beat. So hopefully he doesn't have to come up against a horse like Alea again, and Satino can get his third victory for this campaign.
Okay, on to race number 8, and this was the Unite Resourcing Rogan Josh Stakes over the 2100 metres.
Trade now. Whiting's coming away from the inside with Go Bella following Tetaku, 2 in the middle. Not a lot of room for the mare, but she's pushing through the opening. And then on the outside, playing Marika outside, blazing away, Casino 17. He's trying to build under the 62. Star Trade hits the front though. Star Trade's the leader. Go Bella giving chase, and now blazing away. Go Bella, Casino 17 might get them all coming down the outside. They're going to go to it. Great finish, head bobber, Go Bella maybe. Maybe Go Bella a nose, Casino 17 or blazing away in a great finish.
It was a great finish, wasn't it? The Rogan Josh Stakes, and it was Go Bella and Jason Whiting having a good day in the saddle.
Go Bella brings up the second leg of a double for Jason Whiting, and good win. Had just had a lovely run in behind the speed. Looked a little bit nerve-wracking at the top of the straight. He just needed to edge his way clear, and once she did, she still probably took 100 metres to gather that momentum. It looked like she may have hit a little bit of a flat spot at the 300 metre mark, but credit where credit is due to the mare. She just keeps coming back better and better. That was her biggest test yesterday, albeit only had to carry the minimum of 54 kilos, but got her head down when it mattered most, and it was a really good win for Steph Bakranich and the Divatini family. And it must be said, I really enjoy the way Steph places her horses in their right grade, takes them through their grades, and Go Bella, clearly a beneficiary of that type of approach.
Yeah, 100% deserved that win and was given a lovely ride. As you said, it was a little bit hairy coming to the corner. The leader, Barra Magic, ended up running last, and that's the horse that Jason Whiting was following, but he was able just to angle off at the right time, so his momentum wasn't impeded too much and put her into the clear, and just that weight differential was clearly the finishing result. Beat Blazing Ahead by a nose or a head, carried 4.5 kilos less, beat Casino 17 was a further nose away, and
it was almost
8 kilos.
It was almost the theme of yesterday's meeting, wasn't it? There were some enormous weight swings between first, second and third all throughout the meeting.
Yep. Casino 17 was huge. I thought was the winner in that race with the way on straightening, the way he travelled up and finished off. He just probably laboured a little bit, took a little bit to hit his straps under the big weight, but to be beaten ahead with 62, I think still a gallant effort. Interested to see where he goes next. Is it a case of going to a Strickland, or I think
there's the Southwest Cup between the Strickland that's been moved in the programming, so I suspect plenty of these horses head in that direction. I thought he was awfully brave there yesterday. I think if Jared Noske just had a back to drag him into the corner, perhaps 50 metres further, he goes awfully close to winning that race. But unfortunately, when you have to carry the impost of 62 kilos, it's never easy, and you clearly need every single little inch to go your way. And if he just had that horse to follow, perhaps that would have been the case there yesterday. But either way, I still think the horse is going really well.
He's flying.
I love the approach from Grant and Alana Williams. They just basically say that the horse goes better when he's in work and he doesn't need to have a long break, so they're just going to keep racing him, keep him ticking over, and eventually, when they take some of their better horses across to Melbourne for the spring, there'll be plenty of country cups for him to target.
What about the cheeky effort of Star Trade? Went around off 1,300 up to 2,100 off a week, and he's not really he's not really a stayer either. I think he's only been up to that distance probably a couple of times in his career, and he's more known as a miler, so I thought that was a great training performance.
Absolutely. Perhaps that's a new string to Star Trade's bow. He might be a star moving forward, who knows?
But he's up there in the ratings, of course. He's high 90s, so perhaps he could go 3 weeks into a Hyperion back to a mile or something like that.
He's always had a heap of ability, though, Star Trade, hasn't he? Been able to pull that one out. And back on the Divatinis too, Black Carrot the Mare or the Dam of Go Bella.
What a mare.
Nerodeo as well, so...
Oh, well, I forgot about that.
They've had a lot of, like 3/4, isn't it?
Nerodeo's a 1,000-1,200 metre horse.
Nerodeo's a Playing God, 1,000-1,200 metre horse, and Go Bella's a Black Fries, and won the feature at 2,100 yesterday. What a mare.
Great dam.
PKF Perth handicap over the 1400 metres rounded the season out.
Getting right up on the inside of Bagwell, so he's going to follow Special View. He's had a terrific run to the corner, and he's now off the rail as well. It couldn't have mapped any better for him. Above the peg around the outside from No Change, and then further back behind them. When they come to the 200s, Zafira makes up ground. Count the Sessions has been joined by Above the Peg. Above the Peg, and now Zafira. She's hitting overdrive. Above the Peg, Zafira. Zafira, the outside, grabbed the lead. Zafira's gone home to win it. Zafira has beaten home the stablemate Above the Peg. Count the Sessions after every
Yes, multinational back in for Sisu Warrior fifth, but a dashing ride there from Jordan Turner in the straight to get the money.
The speed was really on early in the first 200 to 400 metres of this event, and Geordie Turner was just nice and patient from barrier 9 of 11, rode Zafira nice and cold in the early stages, and was actually able to grab the back of the stablemate at a key stage. Above the Peg travelled like the winner into the race, and Zafira clearly the big beneficiary of that, because just did absolutely no work until the top of the straight, and from there sprinted away really stylishly. She put the riding on the wall with both her first and second up runs, and it was nice to see her return to the winner's circle yesterday.
Yeah, 100%. She's been going really well all preparation, and just that early burn in the race just set up perfectly for her. It was a little bit of an outlier the way she finished off, sort of down that few horses off the fence, but she has come back well. She races really well at Belmont as well. She's holding her form, a mare in form, so I think she can continue on her ways, and she got into that race yesterday with 54 kilos, so there's no reason why she can't continue on. Above the Peg's always just been a hard horse to catch for mine. I know he won really impressively last start, but I think he was a big drifter as well. It was about $3.50 out to $5.50 there yesterday, but he is racing well. Count the Sessions was nearly the ride of the day by Clint Johnston and Porter, the way he weaved in and out of traffic, ran a nice third, and looking forward to getting multinational back to Belmont, because he just does not go a yard at Ascot, and he's still been not too far away. So I'm looking forward to getting him back to a track where he is proven at. And the last one, Sisu Warrior, was probably the most interesting watch of the entire day. He was tailed off, then all of a sudden he sprouted wings and was a fast-finishing fifth.
A step slow, tailed off, and then was held up at
this
the
horse
top
usually
of the straight.
leads. His last two starts, he's been reinvented just about.
Yeah, interesting to note that Grant Williams said post-race that he'd engage the services of a senior rider moving forward. So perhaps the market might forget a horse like Sisu Warrior next start, and we might be able to make a quid out of him. Michael, we often say that you and I aren't smart enough to follow our own horses to follow, and we sometimes miss them the next start. Make sure we follow multinational next start at Bunbury, at Belmont, please. He's been going really well at Ascot, a track that doesn't suit him. We need to make some money out of multinational.
Absolutely. Pop it in your black book. Now, not sure if you mentioned, but
Steve's back.
No, this is, I've got his name here, this man, he's Damien. Not sure if you mentioned, but trainer Susan Olive had a very good 3 wins in 2 days. Blue Lagoon and Catch the Red Eye at Geraldton, and Miss Rockjoy at Ascot. That is 3 winners from 3 starters for Susan. So well-planned races by the Connections. Cheers, well done there.
Yep.
Little Port Hedland punting story, boys, coming off the text line. My horse Quillo, having her first start for 10 months, opened at $5 and drifted to an opening quote of 21. I dribbled a bit more on, and at every point she drifted over 12 hours. Was going to win by the length of the straight and goes down a neck. Punting opportunity gone begging. That's racing. That's Ian Butcher.
Butchie. I was about to say, I thought that Butchie, I'm pretty sure he owned that horse. Yeah. Great to hear that Butchie's listening in there from
and good to see Port Hedland
Undaring Tavern.
First meeting of the season up there. So Troy Morrissey in charge of the Port Hedland Turf Club this season.
Alex Vlahos calling.
He was calling all the action as he always does. And Tash Faithful, doesn't she cover some yards?
Was she there yesterday?
She was up there as well. Riding winners left, right and centre. 5 away from 9.
On Racing Rewind, it is time for the boys to look back and determine who are the black bookers, the ones to be on next start, the horses to follow.
For me, Street Band continued to follow him. Really good win yesterday. Goes to a 1,200 metre event in 3 weeks' time, is my understanding. Wonder Weapon, second
up. Programming now too, Mart.
No, you just got to listen to the post-race interviews. You only listen to them when you do them. Wonder Weapon, second up, 1,400 metres, and Satino. Just keep following, and obviously multinational as well.
Last style bender for me, nice horse.
Yes.
Dance Boss, nice horse. Rocking Rupert as well, and So Fab, I think he'll make a nice horse in time.
How about up to the Goldfields today, KBRC, where you cut your teeth there, Michael? We got a winner or two?
Well, Peter Fernie should, you'd imagine. I heard him speaking to you as I was driving in. I think he fancied
That's unusual.
Red Cadillac. I think he gave a nice little push for. I'm looking forward to seeing a horse, Vinyl, from the Ricky Brown yard. I think she showed a fair bit of ability last preparation there in Kalgoorlie, and Pat Carberry as well going to the Goldfields, which you don't often see.
I'm looking forward to Kick a Goal Son in the same race. First start for Peter Fernie. Good Kalgoorlie record. Lucy Fury to ride.
I've got to say, the field's up there today quite good. So there's been plenty of racing on as well. We had Geraldton, Port Hedland. There's no shortage of country racing at the moment.
Both back to Sunday meetings now in Kalgoorlie, so I think this will be the norm moving forward.
Later, Ernest to take us through the morning into the afternoon. Thanks to Sophie Stone and also to Brad Hardy for the work on the aftermath earlier on. Boys, enjoy Mother's Day. Look after your mums.
Go the Eagles.
Certainly will.
And you had to spoil it, didn't you?